Hello there, and welcome back to the Star Wars Universe podcast. I'm your host, James, and this episode, I am joined again by the Charlie side. Hi, Charlie. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm back. I did so well last time that you risked inviting me back again.
Not a risk in the slightest. I've been frantically trying to figure out a way to give it enough time, but also find a reason to bring you back because it was such a good conversation last time. I had an absolute blast.
And Star Wars Unlimited brings us a quarterly set. Well, ish. Slightly more than a quarter.
Ish.
So we're back.
We are back. We are back with a vengeance. So yeah, the new set.
Cool, right?
Yeah, it is. It's got some weird mechanics in it, which are new
It's got
and
some cool
always
cards.
unsettles me a little bit. Everyone will have seen all of the cards, all of the previews are already out there. Do you have a favorite? Have you found something you like the look of, a potential leader or specific card you're interested in playing?
Okay, so you know me. I play for fun, not for competition.
It's all
But
about fun.
the pod racing cards, I pulled five of them, five pod racing related cards at my pre-release. I was so excited, and then I could not build a deck that I could use them in. I was so annoyed.
Oh, that's so frustrating.
So I need I
Although,
need to I need to find a Sebulba leader. I think that will
mm,
help my thematic pod racing deck. And then build something around there. But I was so determined that somebody I met at the pre-release event messaged me because she'd pulled a pod racer and was like, these are forever associated with you now. Every time I see pod racing, I'm going to think of you. And I was like, I'm okay with that. That is fun.
it's one of the best parts of episode one, first off. I think we need to see it back on screen at some point,
Yeah.
even if it's just in the background. We've had droids playing football, American football in a bar. We need more pod racers.
Yeah. Well, there's the game, isn't there? I need
Star Wars
to,
Racer coming out later this year.
I'm gonna have to play a lot of the game. But
Yeah.
from the Star Wars Unlimited point of view, I did not approach it with any seriousness whatsoever because I never
No.
do. I just went, where's my fun cards?
And that is absolutely the way to approach it. I had enough cards for my deck. I pulled the sexy Dengar.
Ah, yes.
That went in my deck just for the hell of it. And I was like, I will play this and I will use my base's epic action to counteract the additional cost just so I can play it. And I
So I
did
feel
a
like
couple of times.
there's like a level of context. I feel like we've dived in because
We
we
have
both know
dived
we're
in.
very excited about this. But
Yes.
Star Wars Unlimited has brought out a Lawless Time, which is their latest set. It is particularly exciting because, yeah, I see you're waving a booster box at me, and that makes me very sad because I don't have my own booster box right now. Just jealously, like, I want all of those packs. But
If I could
the
push it through the screen, I would.
I would take it and run. You wouldn't see me again. I'd be like, I'm off opening packs. The set's particularly exciting because it is the first after we sort of cycle out after rotation. So some of the earlier sets are now no longer legal in terms of competitive play. We're now at a point where this is sort of the heralding of a new era, a new meta, a new way of playing. So they've done a lot to it. Like I don't know if you noticed actually, because we didn't talk about this when we were just nattering, that they've updated what comes out of the packs and what order they come out of the packs.
And I don't like it because I like my routine and
No,
it's different.
Harry!
I will get used to it. But I'm like, no, the shiny one should be at the back,
Ah,
please.
but there's cooler cards in it.
There's a higher chance of hyperspace in.
Yes.
So, breakdown of a pack is you open it up, get it facing the right way, first off. It's often something I don't do.
I always
Um,
do it the wrong way around. I'm so glad you said that. Every time I open it, I'm like, what? No, that way around.
upside down, left and right. So you get a leader, which has a chance to be a regular hyperspace or very small chance of a showcase. You then have a base, again, regular or hyperspace. And you then get nine commons. I think it's still the same amount, isn't it?
I haven't
Commons
got
and
the right thing in
uncommons.
front of me to double check.
Hang on. I actually have a pack that I don't.
My
I'm going to do a
one
pack battle.
single pack that I've got that I've not
Hang on.
opened
Let me grab one
yet.
for one of my prize packs.
Ah, Also, total side note, have you noticed? Because I will get back to what's in them in a second, but they always have a
Looking at that.
little artwork over the barcode, and it's one of my favorite things to point out because there's absolutely no reason for it to exist, and it just makes me happy that it does. And it's a Loth cat, I think. What cat is
Facing a
it?
mouse droid.
Mouse droid. That was it. I was like the mouse something, and
Yeah.
then droid, the word that escaped me.
Yeah. Yeah. We've just had a conversation about droids.
Droids are our friends, not so much when Loth cats are fighting them. But I'm glad because we've had the same barcode for ages now. Now I
Have
get a
we?
new little
I
artwork.
know. Has it been the trench run?
Yeah, there's only been like two separate ones, I think.
There was the Twin Suns, yeah, trench run.
And then Lightspeed was Trench Run.
I think the
Um,
first ones were the Tatooine Moisture Farm.
yeah, they were definitely different.
So it looks like they're doing it every 3 sets. They'll change the barcode.
I mean, I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah,
I like that they've gone for a Loth cat. Do you reckon I can get? Oh, okay, so they plan these sets very far in advance. I'm determined to have an end with Fantasy Flight games at some point. I'm like, all I need is just to get famous enough on TikTok that Fantasy Flight will take my call. Right.
absolutely.
That's the goal. And I would like, do you reckon we can convince them to put Borgs on the barcode?
Oh, that. Oh no, it would still be in this cycle of 3. So we only know of the next 2 sets. Beyond that, we don't know what they are. Is that Alderaan?
Maybe.
That might. Oh no, that is the Moisture Farm.
No,
It's
there's Twin
between
Suns. Yeah. Sorry, that was a side note. I found my Spark of Rebellion.
booster box. Yes, absolutely. They should absolutely do Porgs. And now we are putting this out into the universe. If they do it, it is for you.
Oh my God, yes, this is recorded. It's all about me. I suggested this. This is all about me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to open this because I don't ever open Star Wars cards not on camera, and audio is close enough. So
Are we pack battling?
yeah, let's pack battle. Do you still rip it across the top?
Yes.
It really stresses me out when you do that. I don't know why, because I do it. I do it across the
You do
back.
the side.
Yeah.
Do you know, I think I just do a bit of a mixture. I'm looking for my opened ones now. I really this is a whole video in itself, isn't it? I didn't realize there was an etiquette. Oh, it's
No, it's just I saw it.
just a
I saw you
chaos.
do it once, and I was like, why has she done that?
No, I went for the top there. The benefit though. So did you do Pokemon a little bit, don't you?
Mm,
So I think this is because I came in so heavily with this with paper,
mm.
whereas you cannot do that with the plastic that you get on Pokemon, on Lorcana,
Yeah,
or
you have to
Magic.
open it down the back.
You have the same thing. So I'm just so modern. I'm so contemporary.
Do things your own way. It's all good.
I'm a rebel. What can I say? And in this company, it's a good place to be. Right, I started ripping. I didn't get any further than that.
I'm off to a good start. I've got Lando, which is a rare leader.
Okay, I raise you, Agent Callus.
Very nice. Very nice. Is that hyperspace as well?
That is hyperspace. So
Okay, so
glad you noticed. Don't know who Agent Callus is, though. That's where we are in our Star Wars journey. I can get excited, but I don't know who these people are.
Agent Callis. I'm going to treat this like your comment section, and I will just
Oh my
come
God,
in
yes.
and tell you roughly who this person is.
Please.
Agent Callis is in Rebels. He has an amazing helmet, which he clearly keeps on when he shaves. That's all I'm going to say. You won't be able to look at his mutton chops and not laugh.
That's the kind of Star Wars facts I am here for.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I have contested caverns, a red base.
Ooh, yours looks
Basic.
nicer than mine. I have Partisan Hideout, which is a common.
Yeah, mine's common as well.
So the other thing that I've noticed about this set, and I cannot evidence it, right? Because they've got very similar artists, they've got everything else, but I swear to you, the artwork in this set has just gone up a notch.
French kiss.
It's stunning.
I tell you what, that's going to need some context as well because I've just called it a French kiss. I do know it's a chef's kiss, but
Well, I suppose my brain didn't even twig that. It's
no,
just like, yeah, sure,
this-
that's what he means.
that's what he means. It's just misspoken. No, I deliberately call it a French kiss, and that's a callback to Brian Klein, who good friend of the show, was on a podcast called Late Night Loki. And it was like they were recording like 3 a.m. because Loki was dropping at midnight America time. And he meant to say chef's kiss and he's accidentally said French kiss. And it just took on a complete life of its own. And now in that entire group, every time someone is like, ah, everyone's like French kiss. So sorry, Brian, for exposing you for that. But that
The
podcast is
legacy.
still up.
The full legacy.
It's come all the way around because Loki came out in what, 2020?
It's been a while. It's been a while.
6 odd years. But then we move into our commons.
Our commons.
So
do you
how
want to
many
just
commons do we
commons?
actually get?
9. I checked this. So check
Okay, so
1, 2.
I have
8.
1 hyperspace.
I raise you. I have 2 hyperspace.
You are winning this.
This is a good pack. I am okay with this.
Good.
I've
I'm seeing if I've got.
Hidden Hand Supplier.
Oh, I got him. I got him too.
Oh, there you go. I got the fantasy version. And then I got an Alkenzi Patroller, but I also got the standard version.
Ooh,
and I quite
very
like
nice.
doing that because I like seeing the difference between, so obviously podcast you can't see it, but your standard cards have a black outline around them, and then I can never remember Showcase or Hyperspace. One of them is way better than the
Hyperspace.
other. Hyperspace is like your full art version, so the art extends across that black border. You don't have a black border instead. So I quite like getting a pack where I've got the 2 of them in because I'm like, oh look, it looks even better next to what I could have pulled.
Again, saying what you're saying about the artwork. That artwork is awesome.
It's stunning. It's so good.
I've pulled The Axe Forgets, which I just think the name of the card is really cool.
It's cool. That's a title of an album, right?
It's a saying. I know
I mean,
it's a saying.
It should be the title of an album. That's the
It should be.
Learning to sing, play ability aside, when I launch my debut album that I have no plans for currently, but until this very second, The Axe Forgets.
Mine would be Purple Things and Cotton Socks.
Of course, because you have that to hand. You're like, I know what this is. I've already thought about
I settled on that when I was like 15. It's just stuck with me ever since.
it.
So we then have Hyperspace Foil card, which comes next, which is a change in the pack. Mine is a common Cavern Angels X-Wing.
Ooh, okay. I think you win on that one because mine is a common, but it's Beach Patrol 80 ACT, which
Ooh, very, very nice.
is pretty, but it's not an X-Wing.
It's not an X-Wing. It is a very cool card, though. I managed to get it out once at pre-release. We then have 1, 2, 3 uncommons. I have Lady Proxima from Solo.
She caused a whole question at pre-release because loads of us couldn't figure out what she was or who she was, and I was like, I don't care if she's going in the pet deck.
She's not a creature. She is a underworld mini boss. So she
looks
runs
like a giant slug.
She is a giant slug, but she's kind of a giant centipede. She has arms, apparently.
Pet.
I'm not sure you'd get away with calling her a pet, but so yeah, she's in Solo. She is running the sort of street level gang that Han and Kira are part of, and they escaped from her. That is Lady Proxima.
Vaguely the concept of them escaping because he escapes and she doesn't, and
yes,
she then goes on to Crimson Dawn. I remember those parts of it. I don't remember the centipede.
Yeah. She doesn't look like a centipede in Solo from memory. She's sort of in a big bar.
As you do.
As you will. So I then have the Tana, which, for anyone not familiar with that name, that is Jabba the Hutt's skiff that he takes out into the desert for the Sarlacc scene. It is actually Jabba's sail barge, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Oh
yeah.
No, actually, I'm not going to finish that sentence. I don't know anything about Star Wars. Don't trust me when I say I think so.
It's either the sail barge itself or one of the little skiffs that go alongside it.
I think it's one of the skiffs that go alongside it because the sail barge is massive. Whereas, I mean, I can't tell from camera, but I think it'd be bigger.
I thought it would be bigger. And it should have higher stats. And then I'm finishing off my uncommons with Ezra,
Way, there he is.
Spectre 6. A
So
very, very good card.
I have, and you're going to correct my pronunciation because other than going Irk, I don't know
Um,
how I'm supposed to say that.
um, er,
Okay,
um,
good, good. Proud of that one.
there is a is he a Tuscan?
Yes.
Yes. So there is also a very, very famous Tuscan at this point in time that is in Galaxy of Heroes, which is the Star Wars team building turn-based game called and it's spelled UROROROR apostrophe H.
This is my kind of Star Wars. It's
I
this
love,
on my
I
sat there.
love,
I went, making it a thing.
yeah, we're just going to run with it. And everyone's just gone, that's cool.
We'll have that. So I got my Irk. I got a Syndicate Spice Runner, which isn't a particularly exciting card in general.
A good
And
2/2/2 though.
yeah, probably decent to play with, but because I don't get to play very often, I'm very much like, how pretty is it? And how excited am I to have it in the collection? Although to be honest, with this pre-release, I just loved it. So it might be nice. I have to start playing some more. And then I got a Lando.
Hyperspace.
Another
Special
hyperspace.
rarity.
But he's down as a special, right?
Yes.
Which I controversially don't like that we have random S cards. Because I'm like,
No.
that doesn't tell me anything about where this sits in the bank of how excited I should be about it.
So it depends what you use the S for. Because it used to be starter
Yeah.
and then they became spotlight decks
Yep.
and everyone now calls the S cards special. I've always called them starter or spotlight
Fair.
because that then tells you that it's a variant of the very limited cards that come in the spotlight decks in the starter sets. You get 10 cards that you can only get from those per set.
Yeah.
This set has a little bit of controversy in terms of collectors, me being one of them, where the Great Pit of Carcoon is the first and only special base we have, not to include Intro to Hoth, because that's kind of its own thing, and they're all S rarity. On the back of that is the deck list for the Jabba the Hutt Spotlight deck. That shouldn't be on the back of a base. Back of a base should have a token.
Yeah.
And what I like to do is I get all of my Spotlight leaders and also all of the deck lists, and I've got them all to one side. And when I have enough, I'm going to send them all off for grading. So I have all of the Spotlight leaders and deck lists graded.
That's cool.
I can't do that without
Yeah.
buying 2 Spotlight decks for Jabba.
Yeah.
Slightly annoying.
This is how they get us. We
Yeah.
complain about it, but we're still going to buy them.
Well, it's that, or I spend a lot less money just buying another version of the card
Oh, yeah, do that.
off Card Market. They're currently about £3.50 for the base because they're
Oh, it's
obviously
worth it.
limited.
Yeah,
Better than £22.
well, this is the thing. Well, but yeah, but then you have a whole deck.
The whole deck, which I do play with the Spotlight decks. It's fine. It'll be fine. So let's finish off this pack.
Yeah.
What was in your rare slot? Because it can be a rare, but it can also be a legendary.
Yeah, no, I got a rare, but I got lots of showcases, so it's fine. I got an IG88.
IG88, very, very nice. I got the Phantom,
Ooh, nice.
not the Phantom 2. I get the one that gets destroyed.
So you get to love it forever now in card form.
Yes,
Yay.
and probably multiple of them. Because I seem to get like 10 to 15 rares. That's all I pull. And then I have to figure out something else for the others. Every set.
Yeah,
So
I need a new binder for this set. That's my next drama.
I keep looking at, so I've got the 6 binders for the first 6 sets, base versions above me. And that houses the base set the organized play cards, and then jump to Lightspeed onwards, prestige cards. So I'm
Nice.
going for tier 1 prestige, which is also something you can pull out of regular boosters now.
Yes, you can. I'm so pleased. Those
Segway.
prestige cards are beautiful.
They are. They are. This set is really, really nice. If I have a nit to pick, it, it is that we have had some very cool sort of elevated prestige cards in the last two sets. So Legends of the Force and Jump to Lightspeed did it a little bit. Legends of the Force interconnected to create sort of a big landscape panoramic image.
Yeah.
Which you had the Mortis Gods, you had Yoda, Mace, and Ki-Adi-Mundi, you had Yaddle and the other two on the Jedi Council and things like that. And then you had your other prestige cards, which were a little bit bland, a little bit boring. Secrets of Power, you had the propaganda posters, which were absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And then you kind of had like wanted posters for the rest. This one just kind of looks like a little bit of a splash background with colors that don't necessarily maybe mean anything. The card itself,
Oh, I've not pulled one yet.
I've seen them sort of like
Yeah.
laid out. I can't really discern if there's any obvious logic to the coloring of the prestiges.
Time will tell. We'll do this set and be like, oh, you know how we said that the prestiges were rubbish and blah blah blah. Like about that. We figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone's gonna come in and be like, they mean this. And I'll be like, oh yeah, that was really obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should have
It's
realized
just like when I do TikTok videos about things and then you're in my comment section being like it's this, and I'm like, why did I not realize that? It was my brain when I posted this video.
You're just putting the questions out there.
So let
I'm
someone
just here to answer them. Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. So that was a really fun pack battle. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Who was on your pack, by the way?
Who was what, sorry?
Who was on your pack? I had
Boba.
Boba. Ah.
That's a Boba fight. But that is, I've got no packs left now until I put a proper order in. So I'm down to to be fair, I need to filter what I've got because I've got 2 pre-release boxes worth. But because when I looked at them, I was doing it from a point of view of I need to build a deck. My brain didn't go, oh, cool, I've pulled this card, or oh no, I've got that a couple of times, or anything along those lines. It was just, have I got enough cards to make a deck? Can I make something that functions?
Oh, see, that's why I really enjoy filming just my opening, because I get to actually sit and open the cards. Let's do it a little bit quicker than I normally would, but I get to because I know I'm on a time limit, but I just put them in a stack, and then I go, right, okay, I now have 10 minutes less than everyone else to build a deck. Let's just see what happens. Because I'm not there for the competitive nature of it. I'm there to have fun and to look at the cards and to get the pre-release kit and all the rest of it. Did you say though you've got the spotlight decks?
Yes. I haven't opened them yet, but they are chilling in my Star Wars stuff. I'm definitely playing them on Monday. I just haven't played them yet.
Because they come with a pack.
Do that? Oh.
That started in Jump to Lightspeed.
I did forget that. No, I remember because on the last set, when I opened the map, my husband said, can I open this pack? And I had to go, yeah, that's fine.
Totally
inside,
fine.
I was dying. Like, no, you can't. These are mine.
Well, you sat there going, you better not pull anything.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't have let him keep it anyway. I'd be like, no, you heathen, you back off. This is my hobby.
It was on the flip side of that, for anyone who doesn't know, last time Charlie was on, we went off on a slight tangent, which I ended up cutting out.
We went on for a while. I can't remember what we talked about.
But we went around the TCGs and we ended up setting up a trade. And
oh God, yes.
You got yours and were like, oh my God, this is amazing. Thank you so much. I then got yours and went, I have not sent her nearly enough.
Yes, which was utter foolishness. This was so for me, on my side of this was my Pokemon cards, which I no longer collect and no longer have any like I say particular interest in, but they've just been in my cupboard for a really long time. And
Mm.
I was dying to give them away to somebody that would appreciate them. And so it was an opportunity for me. I was like, great, my cupboard is like half empty now. This is wonderful. And then you were like, I need to send you more. And I was like, no, 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 that wasn't the point.
Well, I did. I sent you a graded hyperspace foil
You did,
evacuate.
which still lives it looks at me.
And I also sent you a Legends of the Force Carbonite pack. You were opening that pack and you're going, I feel really bad. And I really hope I don't pull anything because you've obviously bought it and sent it to me.
Can you imagine if I'd pulled the best thing ever, like the full-on chase card, and you had posted it to me because just you're too kind and you didn't need to? You'd hate me forever.
I'd already pulled my personal chase from that set.
Ah,
Serialized Yoda.
nice. Have you seen they're dropping the serialized down to 1 in 50 on some of them?
Some, yes. So they're doing some out of 50, some out of 100, and the rest are going to be out of 250. They are also, that will naturally lower the pull rates, but they're also lowering the showcase pull rate from Carbonite packs as well. But
I'm quite pro these changes. I think
it makes it more exclusive for collectors, which you need an element of collection in a trading card game because it brings different vibe to it.
yeah. The thing that I went to talked about it quite a lot and how they were like, we understand this and we do this. And I really got the impression that they understood that when you open the packs, you don't always, especially as a new person to it, or if you're joining it, it's really hard to know what's good and what's not. And I remember opening them like way back first set when wasn't a Star Wars fan at the time, knew my TCGs, but couldn't understand why I was getting like really shiny, nice looking cards, but they weren't important cards. Why are they not? And having the rebalancing of it so that opening packs are more exciting and that they've actually made the effort to do that as well when they could just it's got a Star Wars license on it. They could just turn around and say stuff you and they don't. Like I love that. I'm so pro seeing how these changes play out. And then I think it says to me as well that they're listening in future. If this doesn't play out, then what will they change next?
So they've also got a change coming the next set already, which has already been announced, and they made the decision too late to incorporate it into a lawless time. And they are removing rare bases from the rare slot. So you will only ever get one base in a pack. That's great.
Yeah.
Looking at what they do, obviously from a distance, just when they stream and just the announcements they're making, they, as you say, very clearly listen to feedback. They are, and not just direct feedback, they're reading the audience and they are seeing the forums, they're seeing what people are griping about. Don't think they've quite hit it yet, just from what I'm seeing from this set and what people have uploaded and posted about and all the rest of it. I think the booster boxes making the base change will be good, but not much else needs doing. I think we need to let it settle and see what happens. Carbonite, I think it just doesn't. A lot of people are saying, I don't feel this way, but a lot of people are saying they'd rather open a regular booster box than Carbonite box at the moment because potentially the pull rates have gone too low. And Carbonite needs something more than what realistically is now just going to be tier 2 and serialized prestige.
Yeah, I think my biggest issue as someone that loves to I say I love to collect. I don't. I just love to have. I don't I'm not a completionist. I don't need everything. I just enjoy the existence that I have these things and they make me happy. But Carbonite is out of my reach. Like that is not something that is achievable to me. And that's I make my peace with that. That is not within my disposable income at this time as a parent of a toddler in the environment that I'm in. Like I'm not expecting to have any disposable income for a good couple of years yet. So Carbonites are I only ever get Carbonites if I'm gifted them or something along those lines. Like you sent me one, I was so excited. I got one at my pre-release event. I'm incredibly excited to open that. like that's the only time they're ever in my vicinity. I wish that some of the things that, because there's cards that are exclusive to Carbonites, I kind of wish they could be like a 1 in a million in the standard, so that I still have the opportunity, even though I can't afford your Carbonite pack, I can get to a pack every now and again. If there was like a 1 in a million chance and I managed to pull that 1 in 50 serialized, how nuts that would be for me as a pack opener. Which is a very selfish thing, because obviously people who invest the money should get the reward for doing so. But there's like a lottery aspect. I mean, we're all gamblers, really, aren't we? Because we're opening packs and hoping that we pull something good. But I think that would be my personal feedback. Actually, no, that's a lie. I'm not wasting my feedback on Carbonite packs. If I've got any feedback, I want more porgs.
We need porgs to have the swarming Volta droid mechanic where you can have up to 15 of them in a deck. We discussed this last time. I'm going to die on this hill.
No, so yes, we need that. On the one hand, we need that. I maintain, and I'm pretty sure I said this last time, Lorcana had their puppy deck. They had the pups, and the pups you could have up to 99 copies in one deck, right? That is what I need from the porgs. I need a porg army. I need all of them out. I just want the flood deck. And then I also want the porgs as pilots. So I can put Millennium Falcon and then have them with the pilot aspect, piloting the Millennium Falcon, or themselves. Like, they can fly. It's fine. Right. So they're ground and air units, space units. I've got it all thought out. It's fine. I'm partially thinking it out as I'm saying it out loud. Don't know if you can tell. But if I have any feedback for Fantasy Flight Games, that's where we're at. Porgs.
My brain has done that and gone off in a complete tangent. I also want Thurgles as
Space whales.
Spaceship. Space whales, yeah. I
Porgs
want
on Purgles.
Porgs on Purgles.
Porgs on Purgles.
Have you seen the Lego Rebuild the Galaxy Star Wars shows? So they rebuild the galaxy by removing the brick of destiny, I think it's called, and the Purgles transform into giant porgs. And they are space porgs, and they travel through hyperspace.
Okay, right. New pitch. I've got this down. Right. So again, Lorcana, because I do think Lorcana do this quite well. They do which is a separate trading card game, Disney characters, Disney theming, blah blah blah, but distributed by Ravensburger. No, created by Ravensburger. They have every couple of sets. They have a multiplayer / solo game, right, that comes out as almost like a board game in itself, and you play your cards against a somewhat pre-stacked deck, but you don't know what's going to come out when, and different bonuses come up, and it's surprisingly difficult on the ones that I've played. Right, so I need that for Star Wars, and I need it to follow that process, right? There needs to be a big bad, and I just need a pre-built deck of Purgles and Porgs that somehow I make this happen, that I'm telling a story, a narrative of Purgles and Porgs in the galaxy against whatever bad guy you want to put them up against. The dark side in general, don't care, whoever it is. Porgs and Purgles. Problem solved.
As I was listening to that and trying to pull up a picture of it, I remembered what they're called, and they're called Porgles.
Oh, even better. That is nuts. Oh, why is that not a set?
I fully expect it to be in the not too distant future.
Well, that's going to be an instantaneous purchase, isn't it? Why is it every time I talk to you, I end up spending more money?
As I open your eyes to the possibilities.
Yeah. I built my first Lego set the other week. Very proud of myself.
Excellent. What did you build?
The Star Wars logo.
Oh, amazing.
Which is like one of those. I love it so much, and I really enjoyed it, especially as like a first build and I like put together. And then I'm like, literally in this room, I'm surrounded by like my husband's UCS sets and how big and impressive and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I made a logo, yay! Yoda.
2002 UCS Yoda. With a
for the benefit of the podcast, you pointed me in the background to your Yoda. I didn't just randomly go Yoda.
I have a lot of Yodas. I have a lot of Yodas. And then a new one to build as well. I don't know if I had this last time we spoke. Grogu with his pram.
Little Grogu.
And I'm trying to figure out if I want to build it on live or not.
Oh, I had that thought process, and then I didn't. I just sat down with my husband one evening, and I put have you seen on Disney Plus, they've got the Star Wars biomes and fly-throughs.
Yes,
And yeah, I just put those on the TV and just built Star Wars Lego.
they're wonderful. Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to end up doing because I find with content creation, it's very easy to fall into the trap of everything goes, "Can I make content out of this?" And you
Yes.
don't need to. Sometimes things like Lego, things like binder building, it's almost a wellness thing of you just zone out and just do it. And it just
Yes.
takes you out of life for a bit. And that's a much needed check out at times. Lego has always been that escape for me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, do I do it? Do I not? And in the end, I was like, I'm probably not going to do it. I'm just going to want to build it. I don't build particularly quickly. I like to enjoy and take my time. I will quite often have headphones in while I'm doing it and listen to either music or lo-fi, which is also music, but very different to what I normally listen to, or like white noise as well, which is good fun. It's very much sort of a grounding experience for me building Lego.
Yeah.
It always has been. It's
I
always been
think
very therapeutic.
you and I have the almost the benefit and also just not the wallets for the fact that because we love Star Wars Unlimited is if ever we're hurting for content, there's always more packs.
There's always more packs, and
And I sort of
they're
reassure
not
myself
break the
with
bank.
that. No, they're not. And equally, I mean, my content is different from yours in the sense that I do a lot more. I do a lot of like front facing. I've just had
Hmm.
this thought. Oh my goodness, kind of stuff. But that for me gets prompted by cards and things like that. So I very much I take the approach when there is stuff that I could do on stream and maybe I should have built Lego here. I turn around and I'm like, I am okay for content. I content is my hobby and that's the bit that
Mm.
I enjoy doing, but that doesn't mean everything has to everything I do that Star Wars has to go on.
No, but I think I do often find, especially if I've been sort of like I've got it coming up where I'm gonna spend quite a long period of time filming and building up a back catalogue and then getting it scheduled and everything all sorted. And then I sort of look at what I've got left at like the carnage of booster boxes
Yeah.
and empty packs and stuff like that, and just cards everywhere. And I kind of look at it and go, you know what, I could sort all this out, leave what and then do another video for a binder build, for example. Then I look at it and go, no, because actually that's then my calm down time.
Yes.
Because it's like I know after this call, after this interview and chat, I'm going to probably sit downstairs in my house, and I'm just going to sit in the dark. I've tried going to bed straight after podcasts. No, my brain's wired. My brain's in talking
Yeah.
mode, and I'm then churning through the conversation, thinking how I'm going to edit it or whatever. I can't settle, so I need to just sit for a bit.
Yes.
I don't want to be in that state of mind. Not that it's a bad state of mind. It's enjoyable. I actively enjoy doing this. If I didn't, I wouldn't do it. But I enjoy being in it, but I then enjoy being out of it.
Yes.
I don't want to be in it all the time. I could never be a vlogger. Always, I don't think you ever truly are yourself at that point in time. You're constantly playing to the camera
Yeah.
and you're aware it's there.
It's actually really reassuring to hear you describe it that way because I used to do interviews for a living
Mm.
and a lot of the people I would be speaking to would be Americans. So I'd stay up late-ish. And then I'd get to the point where I'd be like, right, I'm absolutely knackered. It's been so great speaking to you. I've loved every second of this. This is the most wonderful thing in the entire world. And I'll close my laptop down. And then I need to do something. I need to doom scroll. I need to do because my brain is just in that mode. And I thought it was just me. So it's actually really reassuring. I thought this was just like a weird thing that I had that I needed to then stay up for another hour despite being knackered. But yes, no, I can completely empathize. And I didn't realize it was a shared experience. But
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was just me either. It's the thing of and I think one of the things will kind of segue into one particular thing that you have done certainly since we last spoke, being your Discord. I think
oh
one
yeah.
thing that's really been fantastic about that is being able to talk about stuff. And I'm going to shout him out by his username, which I think I've mentioned on my last episode because he gave me some feedback. Dark Warrior, an absolute stand-up guy, really,
Yeah.
really kind, really, really empathetic, and
He's
um,
got the biggest heart. of anyone I've ever met.
Yeah, yeah, and also a content creator. I've had some conversations with him recently that are probably easier to have with someone online and
Mhm.
not face to face, but he's completely got it. And he said all of the right things. And he's then come back a few days later, been like, "You all right? How you
Yeah,
doing? How you getting on?" And it's just like, you didn't need to do that last bit, that follow-up bit. And that's awesome. And I really appreciate it. That wouldn't have happened if we hadn't spoken about it.
yeah,
So I'm a big supporter of struggling, or if you're not happy about something or you're experiencing something that you might think is unique to you, it's probably not. And
yeah,
it's just put it out there. Someone will come back and
yeah,
say, "Yeah, I do that."
yeah. I know what you're talking about. I get
Yeah.
you.
And immediately the gravity of the thing, whatever it may be, is halved. Just, oh, I'm not alone.
Yeah,
That's the biggest thing.
I think a lot of what I'm when I was so my life used to be board games. That was the industry I worked in. That was everything I did, and I always used to say board games are one of the best things for not just mental health in the sense of like when you're struggling, but for friendship building, for anything, because you always have something in the middle to do the conversation bit for you. Like you don't
Yeah.
know anything about the person over the table from you, but if you're all you're doing to begin with is just playing cards and then commentating on what you're playing or why you're playing it, suddenly you've got common ground, you've got a conversation, and then you start building from there. And when I left the board game industry professionally, I certainly haven't hobby wise, but when I left it professionally, I was like, I don't know how to do that anymore. What do I do? And the fact that Star Wars has filled that void so incredibly to become this unifying force for many of us, but to give us that foundational point,
Mm.
because I have made many genuine friends through 6 months of Star Wars TikTok of all things. Like it almost feels strange to say out loud that it's like I've made
Mm.
genuine friends off of a stupid internet thing that I do, talking about a fictional world, but it's so easy to have something in common that unifies us. So like
Yeah.
both of us have Dark Warrior as his username, who we only met through Star Wars. If
Mm.
it weren't for Star Wars, if it weren't for that, there is no point at which mine and his lives would have intersected.
No.
Like that's nuts. And I felt it so much at the pre-release I went to as well for Star Wars Unlimited is that, and that was a little bit different because the one I went to was had board gamers and such in it as well, but you always had a foundation of something. And so I've walked away from that. I mean, I'm trying on Instagram again because I'm like, I like these people. I want to keep them as friends. They're all Instagrammers. Now apparently I need to try on Instagram. Is I think there's just this beautiful middle level that Star Wars provides. And that Discord that you mentioned that is now my Discord, which feels very strange to say. I was so resistant to doing. And I only did it because I'd put a video out over in Betwixtmas, between Christmas and New Year, and sort of said, I really like Star Wars and I would like more Star Wars friends. So if you want to talk about Star Wars, I'd really like to do that. Lots of interaction, lots of engagement, lots of everything. I loved it. I actually got frozen out of TikTok several times because it turns out you can reply to comments too quickly. And I was replying at such volume that it just kept freezing me out. And then
Mm.
I'd be like,
Like,
yeah,
no,
but
you
the
need a
longer
break.
you leave me, the more I need to comment back. Well, no, don't do this to me. And a lot of people said start a Discord. And I was like, I don't really want to. I was like, and I think because I've only ever been in men discords where everyone's fighting and I've always felt really uncomfortable and really like I don't like this. There's a lot of channels. I don't want to talk to a lot of people in a lot of channels. I want to talk about XYZ. And knowing that should I open one, I would be the one to police it. And I'm not like I don't know. I'm not conflict averse, but I also don't
Mm.
want to invite it into my life either. And I can't be as chronically online as I appear to be from my TikTok. I'm not. I batch everything. I do everything in small pockets of time.
Yeah.
Huge reservations about doing it. Interesting, Dark Warrior was one of the people that I was talking to about it, and he turned around and said, I will help you moderate it if you want to try it, and then I can step back when you're comfortable. And I was like, oh my God, yes, please,
Yeah, the load.
anyone help me. Um, And we did it, and it's one of the things I'm most proud of now because that little community is gorgeous. It's being able to pop in and say, I'm really pleased with this, or I thought this today and I didn't know how this went, or I mean, I'm probably most active in the Star Wars Unlimited channel. Wasn't expecting Wordle to become such a thing.
I tell you what, I've always been like, I can't spell, and because I can't, I get the simplest of words wrong on a regular basis. And I went in and I was like, no, 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 Wordle's not for me. And I kept seeing it. I kept seeing it. And I was like, let's give it a go. 5 letters. And
now
now, now I'm hooked. And I got today's in 3 or 4 tries. And I was very proud of myself.
Proud of you.
Yeah. And even when I don't get it, I've got some of the letters where it needs to be. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's either going to be this or this.
Yeah.
And I'll go, I've only got one chance because I approach this like I approach most things in my life of I use the same word every time
Oh, so this
first.
is an interesting differentiator, right? Is I can't remember who it was that asked. And they were like, does everyone use the same starter word? And I was like, no, I can't remember what mine is day to day.
So I'll tell you what mine is.
What's yours? What's yours?
Agile.
Agile. Oh. See, the thing is, though, really, what you want to do if you want to be like really OC about it is you want to check and see if agile has ever been the word.
Yeah, I didn't know I could do that.
Well, I imagine someone's keeping a record somewhere. It's the internet.
Yeah.
But one of the people on our Discord got it in on like one
Yeah.
day. And she
Yeah.
was like, this is the best day of my life. I was like, yeah, that's
I
never
have done
happened.
it. Yes, I was there for that celebration. It was glorious. I was like,
It,
I really hope that's me one day.
it amuses me that like I think I did a video about it, but so it's like, what do you get when you put it's more than 150. It was 150 when I last looked. 150 Star Wars nerds into one place.
Wordle.
Wordle. You get
Wordle is what you get.
competitive Wordle.
Not even like Star Wars Wordle. It's just Wordle.
It's just Wordle. I think Orion literally just did it once, and then someone else did it, and then we all started doing it, and then
Yeah.
and then I had to rename the chat because that was the original Star Wars chat. I had
That
to
was the
rename
general,
that.
that
Yeah,
was
I
the
had to
general
rename
Star
that
Wars chat.
Wordle, and then I've had to create a new Star Wars chat channel because we'd lose our streak otherwise.
Yeah,
We're on like 47 days.
we are. It's basically just Wordle and chat now.
Yeah, yeah. It was not what I was expecting from a Star Wars community. But
No.
then you look at like, I mean, I feel slightly old in that server sometimes because I am old and I forget that I am old. But like you get
Yeah,
advice
me
questions,
too.
and here is where I am in this stage of life, and I don't know what to do. And you're like, oh, like I feel big sister sometimes, which I quite like, and like I hope that we all sort of trust each other that no one's going to be a so and so. Like,
Well, we all know Paul is constantly watching.
I did rename Carl. Carl is if not familiar with Discord, because I certainly wasn't before I set this up, Carl is just the automated bot that makes sure that no one is misbehaving. And because as I say, I'm not as chronically online as I appear to be, I have him set up to do everything for me. And so that's why we have some of the rules in place. That's part of the reason we have a no swearing rule, because it's easier just to blanket ban it. But also I was like, tone wise, it's easier just to not. But we have those sorts of rules in place. And then Carl is just constantly banning anyone that, or like doing temporary timeouts.
Yeah,
For
I've
people that
been
break the
timed
rules.
out so many times, and I'm just like, well, that's my cue to get offline for a bit. I'll come back in 10 minutes and carry on the conversation, which has by then gone from something that I knew quite a lot about in Star Wars to something I know nothing about in general life. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is, don't worry, it'll come back around.
There is a moment where I'm gutted where there'll be this conversation. I'm like, oh my God, I so want to join in, but I am too late. And it's like 4 hours later, there's 700 extra messages. I'm like, oh, I can't just quote you guys up here just because I want to
Absolutely
say
can.
something.
It's your server. You absolutely can.
Sorry, guys, you're
It's,
enjoying this convo, but I want to add something here.
and if you don't like it, Hal's on my side.
Carl's on my shoulder like, grr.
He's a turtle as well, so it's not threatening in the slightest. It's like a smiley turtle. And it's like, you've got a time out. And I'm like,
I mean, I've renamed him on mine Emperor Palpatine because that was a running joke for a while. Because they asked me to change his name to Emperor Palpatine, and I couldn't figure out how to do it because I am old, and I only managed to change it on my one. And it turns out you can only change your own ones. You can't do all of them. So yeah, I just get a little bit. I get a little thing that I don't even really get notifications, but occasionally I'll look and it'll be like Emperor Palpatine has banned blah 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 for 10 minutes because of this swear word or this whatever, or they posted too many links or something, and I'm like, yeah, cool, dude. Like, good job, I guess.
well done, tiny little dictator.
But it's nice. I never expected. I know I'm a people person. I love having little communities and pockets of people and finding out people's stories and things like this. And this feels like a natural progression, but it certainly wasn't what I thought. I thought it was going to be horrendous. I thought it was just going to be a lot of actually as people that just want to correct you all the time. And it's been delightful that it hasn't been that. I mean, we've got a whole bunch of people that aren't on the Discord anymore. They are there, but they're not actively engaged. But they're off playing Star Wars D&D. They joined on like day one, arranged a D&D group. We're like, do you want to do it in this or do you want us to have a separate one? And I was like, well, it's up to you, but obviously your channel will get quite fogged and all this. So they just went, okay, cool, we'll do a different one. I was like, all right, see you later. And every now and again, someone will give me an update on what they've been up to. And I'm just like,
yeah,
that exists because I did a stupid video on the internet. That's really cool.
It exists because you did a thing.
And
that's awesome.
And it was a fun thing.
Yeah. And it's interesting you sort of say like you feel like a big sister in there. I have flitted between feeling like a big brother, an uncle, a dad, even bordering on granddad. So I'm sort of sat there going in the corner going, no, I don't agree with this and I don't like this. And it's like, no, I'm getting all curmudgeon-y.
Yeah, the parent in me comes out every now and again.
Stop it, children.
It is an 18+ server. Everyone is an adult, they can make their own decisions, but also I want to look after you all.
Yeah, there's some interesting moments in there where it's like, how far do I go with my advice? Because I feel very strongly about this. And it's like, share my opinion and walk away.
And I'm 99% sure I know exactly what advice it is that you're referring to as well, because I did the same. I was like, how much do I say this? No? Okay, right. No, I've said my piece. I've tried.
Please. I'm going to do what you're going to do. No control over the rest of this situation. Just go about my day.
It's funny as well though, because you forget, and it's the same with TikTok, is that you know these people and you like experience these people, but you don't know their names.
Yeah.
And I literally, so at my pre-release event that I went to, group of people that I really liked. They're called the Nexus. If ever you speak to them, they are fabulous. They're Star Wars players, and they play at Spellbound. And I sort of said, oh, in one of the groups, in one of the Discord, someone said, oh, I play at Spellbound, and I was like, oh, amazing. You must know the Nexus guys. And he said, yeah, I do. So when I saw them, I went, oh my god. In my Discord, there's this person that I talk to all the time, and he's really lovely, and we chat loads. And he goes to Spellbound, and he knows you, and I have absolutely no idea what his name is. I was like,
I know his username.
His username is this. Does that help? They were like, no. I was like, good. This was a really fun chat. I've not seen you for ages. This is really embarrassing. I'm going to go walk away.
You've just kind of picked up your comment section on TikTok and put it into a Discord. And it's
very
brilliant.
Pleased. Thank God.
I completely understand your nervousness. I've been on Discord for probably longer than I want to admit. I am in multiple servers. I just don't look at them.
No, and I used to find the notifications so overwhelming because you'd click on it and they'd be like, you've got 300 notifications and you've been at it 600 times, and you're like, oh my God, no. And I think
most of those are just going to be at everyone.
Yeah. And I very quickly realized that and was like, there's no point. I now actually have to pay attention to them now they're in my own server, because people do actually at me now. And I'm like, oh God, every time they're like, could you do this? And I'm like, I don't know how to. I warned you guys, Discord was not my thing.
If you can talk me through it, then I can do it.
Yeah, give me specific instructions And then I feel so old because I'm like, there are certain things that you cannot do through the Discord app and you have to do them through the web browser. So every time I'm like, I'll go like I'll think about it when I'm next on my MacBook. I feel like that person that's like the adult that's like, I can't do anything on my phone. I need to go and get my computer. And I am that person. Like I cannot book a flight on my phone. Flights are a laptop decision.
That's a big computer purchase.
Exactly, right? I know I'm that person that every time I have to do it for Discord to go on my computer to do something, I'm like, do I need the computer or am I just old?
There are certain purchases you have to make
Mhm.
that have to be done on a computer.
Yes. What's on your
But
wish
yeah,
list at the moment, Star Wars wise?
that's a very good question, and I'm completely unprepared for it because it's normally me asking the question in this scenario.
Yeah, sorry, I snuck one in. I'll go back to my lane if you want me to.
No, 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 it's fine. So I've recently got into Black Series figures a little bit, and my local comic book store has a Grand Admiral Thrawn Black Series,
Ooh.
and I have loved Thrawn since I first read Heir to the Empire, which was not quite released. It was several years, many years after release, probably about 10 years after it was originally released. But again, I try and limit my wish list in terms of Star Wars to things that mean something to me, because otherwise I get overwhelmed. Then I
Yeah.
try and get everything, and I run out of space very, very quickly. Although I do make the odd impulse purchase. I'll go into that in a minute. So yeah, I would say that's probably on my wish list at the moment. It's really just I'm very focused on Star Wars Unlimited at the moment, and it's probably things like singles that I want out of those
Mhm.
that I'm like, if I get that one, I'll be not just one step closer. I'll be happy to have it
Yeah.
because I really like the artwork, or get some of the collect all the variants of like, the Jar Jar card from a few sets ago, which is hideous, but it's hideously beautiful. Like people will hear me go, "Oh, that's a really hideous card." That's not me. That's not me slagging it off. I love it because it's hideous.
Yeah.
And so there's the it's trap card as well, which is a ridiculous card. Like you have the Ray Skywalker card from Lawless Time. It's almost like hyper realistic. It's clearly a picture. I know you've got one.
It's not the card.
It's oh no, it's the lightsaber.
No. Well, yes, I do have that.
Oh,
But no, I have even better.
what is it? Oh, it's the map. Like that.
That
It's
artwork is insane.
it's it's obviously quite clearly a picture, but it's that more hyper realistic version of art,
Mhm.
and it is absolutely beautiful. And then you have the quite cartoony Admiral Akbar, it's a trap,
Yeah.
and like the
I
Jar
think
Jar, which is distorted and things.
maybe that's the distinction that I've made with, because I said to you early on tonight that I feel like they've stepped up the artwork in this
Mm,
set, that they've lent more into the realism than the cartoonishness that
mm.
was the original sets felt very cartoony.
I've been set 4, jump to light speed. The Luke Skywalker red leader is really cartoony, and it's quite, if I would say 40s comic books,
Mm,
and it's just not an attractive card.
no, and I think that it put some people off early
Mm,
days, the artwork, because it was a bit of an acquired taste and I liked it, but not in the same way I do the more recent stuff that's come out and I've gone, oh, I liked that, but I love this.
mm. Yeah, and it's like obviously the Ray Skywalker card was announced, and everyone just, "Oh, she's not Skywalker."
Uh,
Um,
I'm tuning all of these out now.
Oh no, absolutely.
I'm
And
so
then
like my Skywalker lightsaber, my Ray lightsaber brings me so much joy
mm,
that I can't even be bothered to read the comments on the people that are like, well,
no,
I don't care.
yeah,
It makes me happy. I like it.
no, absolutely. But you'll see the odd line in there, in the odd comment in all of the noise. And it's just like it's incredible artwork though.
Yeah, it's cool
and you're
artwork.
just like, yeah, we're getting you.
Yeah.
You'll come over, come join the dark side. We've got cookies. Um,
I'm so glad you said that. I have that in my head like 24/7.
it's even people who hate the idea of the character are kind of looking at it going,
It's cool
a
card.
really nice bit of artwork. And it's like, Matt, I've got from Legends of the Force, I got it binds all things, the Dagobah scene where Yoda's lifting the X-Wing.
Yes.
I got
Yes.
that as my mat. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning. But even like there were moments of it, like you could see the potential of it in the first couple of sets with like Darth Vader card and the Jedi Knight Luke card.
Mm.
They were incredible pieces of artwork. And it just so happened they were the two best cards and have been the two best cards in the game for quite a long time. And it just helped that they were also amazing pieces of artwork. And like the Vaders, the first three sets were selling for like £70 a card. And we haven't seen a normal card do that in any other scenario. You have showcases, but even like I've got a Rio Durant showcase. I was like, okay, it's worth £15. That's been part of the problem as well, is there's so many legendaries and showcases which are just not viable
Mm.
in the game. And a game that leans so heavily into playability, which is so crucial, I'm not knocking them for that. There has to be an element of collection though. You want to feel like your cards are worth something. Legendary
Yeah.
should feel legendary.
Which is why I like that they've attempted this rebalance.
Mm,
That they've done it in such a way that it's ended up where it is, and then they've
mm.
gone, well, we know people don't want this, so let's shuffle some things around. Let's see if this works, and let's try this. And I'm obsessed with that because no game comes out perfect because
Right.
you can test for everything and then still not get there. But the fact that they've had this much flexibility, considering how far in advance they were planning decks and sets before they even launched, to still be able to be flexible is nuts. Like realistically is nuts.
Yeah. I think I remember seeing just before launch of the entire game, they had planned the themes through 9 sets,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
yeah.
we are just at set 7. And we've had some quite seismic changes to the game with a variety of different keywords introduced, and some have been introduced and not really been seen again, like bounty and things like that. You then have bot, which kind of does the similar and things like that. I'll be honest, I need a crib sheet a lot of the time.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you said that. It was especially because I don't play very often. We were looking, and thank God. So someone I was sat on a table with, he does demos for Asmodee. I think he does Star Wars Unlimited demos sometimes, but I not like he's not a Star Wars Unlimited demoer. But I was literally sat there being like, just remind me what this one does. What am I doing on this one? And it used to be that you got in the pre-release packs, you got the instructions. And all I need is just, like you say, a little crib sheet that just says raid means XYZ because it's not
Yeah.
now written on the cards. Or this
Sometimes it is and sometimes
will
it's
give
not.
you this, and this one will give you this one. And it's like, that would be useful to know.
Yeah. It's like sometimes they are written on the card and sometimes they're not.
Yeah. And I feel trapped because sometimes I'm like, but why isn't it written on this one? So is it different to the thing that I did 3 turns ago that's now off the table that I can't now look at?
So I'm obviously audio podcast, but I'm holding up two Sentinel cards, one which has the definition of Sentinel and the other one doesn't.
Just for no reason.
Just yeah.
Although
And
is it the showcase versus the regular?
hyperspace.
Is that yeah, sorry, hyperspace. I can never ever differentiate between the two. Because hold on, because I had an Alkenzi, didn't I? Yeah. Okay, so part of it,
Is
again,
what
podcast, I'm holding
version
up
you're pulling?
my two Alkenzis. I've got one that's the standard and one that's the hyperspace.
Hyperspace. Yeah.
Hyperspace. Why do they call them hyperspace and showcase? for some reason my brain cannot differentiate between the two, and I'm constantly saying the wrong one, and I end up just calling it a full art card because I'm like, someone on the internet is going to be cross with me right now if I get this wrong. Um, but yeah, the fancier ones don't. Maybe they think if you're building a deck out of the fancier ones,
You should know what you're doing.
you'll probably know what you're doing, and it's like, but I don't. I just like pretty things.
I know. So I played a card. In fact, it was my legendary, the Stranger,
Nice.
and it had grit. It was a regular card,
I
but it
can't
just
remember
had
what grit does.
no, no. I can't tell you now. I don't know. I was just like I was playing with someone who actually plays competitively, and it was quite funny. He was like, "Oh, I've changed my deck. I've just thrown one together. I wanted to try something out. It's a bit of a joke deck. Don't worry, if you start winning too much, I'll start playing properly." And I was like, "Oh, he was joking." But I was just like, "Oh," and everyone was like, "Bit harsh." Um,
So I
and
love that.
yeah, I know. It was absolutely taken in the way it was meant. I knew that he could actually back it up if I did annoy him. I got my legendary Mando and my legendary Stranger out on board at the same time, and I was like, I'm looking quite good. I've also got a spaceship over here, and I can start doing some big damage here and potentially win the game in a couple of turns because I've actually got a couple of things in my hand as well to play. And he went, yeah, so my intention here was to do this, but I've just read the card and it doesn't do that. So instead, I'm going to play this one, which destroys your Mando, which gives me and he just went on a chain out of nothing. And I went, well, that's my entire strategy gone. And I was like, and there's me going, and so what does grit do? I think when you attack, you add the opponent's attack onto yours for the next attack. It
Oh,
stacks.
yeah, because but isn't there one as well where it's literally just +1 on attack, but not on receiving attack? That's
That's
one as
raid.
well. They no. Oh,
Raid is when you attack, you get raid 1, raid 2, raid 3, raid 4, and you add that to its current attack power.
and what's the one with this? Is it overwhelm? Is the spillage?
Overwhelm is when you have, say, an 8 card pack, defeating a 3 card defense. The difference goes on the base.
Yes, okay. Overwhelm's the one. I quite like overwhelm. That
I
that
quite
did me
like
quite well
Overwhelm.
in the pre-release. I was like,
It,
this is
yeah,
good. We'll do more
yes,
of this.
yes, we like Overwhelm.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I mean that highlights something that I find quite funny is because I talk about Star Wars Unlimited so much and because I love it so much, people assume I can play it.
mm,
So then I have people like friends that play competitively that will then sort of say, "Oh, well, let's sit down and play. I've got a new deck I want to try." And I'm like, absolutely not. Not in a million years. I was like, you are like, I don't know, top 5 in the country right now. No, I can barely remember what. Like, I played 2 rounds of the pre-release forgetting to attack the base. I maintain I'd have won if I'd actually done it. And what I turned around and said was like, just helping you learn how to play it without the pressure. No, I forgot. I flat out forgot. I was just having a great time and nattering and didn't
yeah,
notice.
yeah.
That's how I play. I just want to enjoy doing something fun and like having a chat at the same time and not doing it
Mm,
seriously. I do not want to play competitively, but because I talk about it so much, people think that I can play this game. I'm like, I barely know how to play it. I could functionally get some cards out. I can have a bit of a mess around, but don't sit me across from someone important, please. I'm no, no.
no, it's like I enjoy playing with the starter decks, and I sent a picture to my local wargaming club and pulled out a combo. I had to get Darth Maul out, and I got his lightsaber on him, and then I got another lightsaber on him,
Nice.
and he was hitting for like 11, which in Star Wars Unlimited,
It's
big
nuts.
boy. That's a big boy. And I actually ended up taking a photo of the combo. I was like, I got this out in 1 turn. And they were like, oh. But Star Wars Unlimited at my tabletop club is only really just getting going. And
Mhm.
so it's one of those things of, I'm like, right, next time we meet up, I'm going to bring all of my bulk. Have at it.
I love that.
Like, I don't I don't need it. I'm mainly a collector, but I want to support the game because if the game isn't played, then I can't collect it.
Yes.
Um, and I also really enjoy playing the game.
Yeah.
Like I went there and they were playing Intro to Hoth the first time I went there, and I was like, yeah, I'll play Intro to Hoth. Yeah, it's fine. I have two decks with me. If anyone, well, three decks with me. If anyone wants to try a Qui-Gon Jinn deck, Darth Maul deck, and you're not playing with my Vader deck because I kind of want to is with that.
That's mine.
It's mine. That's my secret weapon. And it's like we were playing back and forth, and it was so new, and they were so new to the game. I was the experienced one, which is concerning for me. But it was that thing of like I was like, right, I could do this, and like you say, attack your base, and I was, but it very much became me teaching them
Yeah.
a little bit,
I
like,
I actually prefer that role.
mm,
I now opt for that if I go somewhere and we are playing Star Wars Unlimited. My preference will always be find the people that don't know how to play and teach them how to play it in a way that makes sense. And I've always said this about board games as well, is once you're in the industry, once you're in the board game world, and once you're in the TCG world, you forget what is foreign to you. So people turn around and like I listened to someone else trying to teach the person I was with who had never played before. While I was building my deck, they were like, "Oh, I'll show you," and I was like, "Good." And they're going, "Right, so on your resources, you're going to need this, and then you need your aspects to be this, and then you need to do this." And I was like, "Babe, no one knows what that means.
yeah,
Not a clue.
use colors.
Colors is fine. When we talk about sort of resources, we have to explain that they're sacrificed. You're not going to get them
Mhm.
back. They're gone forever. You're not placing them down so you can pull them back out later. We need to, this is something we need to make clear. Once you've used them, turning them, that's not a general concept. And
Yeah,
I strongly dislike it. I think all trading card games are guilty of it. Is if you've played a trading card game before, super easy to pick up new trading card games because you're
mhm.
like, you do those mental connections yourself. Then you hit someone who's never played that before, and it will use terminology that is TCG terminology, and you'll read it and go, I don't know what that means.
Mm.
And I love being that bridge. Like I think that's what I enjoy just as much. And in the same way you say, I need more people to play it so the game can continue in a way that I exist. It's probably part of the reason I talk about it so much.
Yeah,
It's because I love it, but unless people are playing it in a capacity that I can't, because I've not got game stores, I live too rurally. I've not got game stores near me. I cannot, in as a parent, disappear off for a couple of hours in an evening because
mm.
who looks after the kid in that case? Like,
Yeah.
I can't support the game by playing, but I
So you support
can
it in other
support the
ways.
game by teaching people when I get the opportunity because I do think other people will love it and they do love it. Or by talking about it, so more other people are talking about it, or any of the little niggly bits that I can do to try and get more people to play it. And I think very much at events, like I loved going to this pre-release because I went in with a lot more confidence than the first one that I did, and sort of an idea that I knew I actually knew how to build a deck. I know I've been a good deck, but I knew how to. But that's a step up from last time. But I still primarily enjoyed the function of teaching other people it more so than anything else. But I think there is an element in the same way that you've gone along with your bulk, in the same way that we did a trade after talking for the first time, is that both TCG and Star Wars fans are very, very generous. And it's not strange because that's an unfair word to use, but it's such a giving community that you really want to be a part of it. I met someone at my pre-release who I've only ever interacted with on TikTok. We've been in similar spheres. We know sort of similar people, but had never met anything. I'd never like met in person. And within 2 seconds, he went, "Oh, I've got something for you." And I was like, "This is potentially very weird. What is going on here?" And bless him, he'd brought me a load of Star Wars magazines that he'd had, and had just been. He was like, "They've been in the cupboard forever," or whatever the reason was, something like that. And he was like, "And you love all your content. You love magazines, so I thought you'd like these." And so I now have a stack from someone I've never met before. But it's the same with cards. I got excited over the Pod Racer cards, and so a shout out to Phil who came over and gave me two. What's the number one? Hyperspace Showcase. Hyperspace? Full art.
Hyperspace.
Hyperspace.
Full art.
See, still can't do it. Years I've been doing this. Full art pod racing cards. Just because he knew I was excited about them.
Yeah.
And I was amazed, but then I was like, but I do that. If you like a card that I've got, then 9 times out of 10, I'm going to go, do you want it? Because it's about the joy of it. And so, yeah, there's a very long-winded, sorry, I got on one of my full-on rants about the state of the industry, but how lovely everyone is. But I think that's something that Star Wars TCG has in a real special way that I haven't seen in other TCGs or in other franchises or in other whatever. And that might just be my experiences of them. But it's really cool to see.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of different sides of the Star Wars fandom over the years. It's certainly everything that you've just said it is. And I would say mainly so. You have a small but very vocal group.
I think they're the loudest.
They are absolutely the loudest. Who are gatekeepy and mean. There's no other word for them. They're mean.
The mean.
Yes, but it's that thing of like, well, if you don't know this, you're not a real Star Wars fan. It's like, no, you could call it a laser sword. You're a fan of it. If you're a fan of it. I'm not saying you started at calling it a laser sword, but you started at, I know nothing about this thing, but I want to.
Yes.
Someone talk to me about it. And that's how we met.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just, it was me very much scrolling and when you're asking a question about a porg, I know the answer to that. Comment, type it in, hit enter, because that's what TikTok is.
Yeah. And I just kept on coming.
And you just kept on coming because I interacted with it. And you started then replying. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Thanks. What about this? And it started the conversation. And now here it is. You're on my podcast for the second time.
Woo-hoo.
I think there's only a handful of people who have been on more than you at this point in time.
Winner.
So I've started to do a couple of series where we're going through a well-known book series, which is currently sitting in Legends. That's with Todd, which I'm hoping to sort out the next episode on soon. It's actually with Todd at this point in time. It's off my desk.
Nice, well done.
And the other one, which is just as and when we feel like it, is with Haley, who I'm talking with her about women of the galaxy. And I know Haley really well, and we get on really well. I was just like, in the first instance, let's pick 10. And it just so happened, one of them was Legends, White's a big character. And I went, let's give her own episode, and we'll do 3 episodes of 3 and finish with her.
Nice.
And it just happened to work out. But we're talking about, I'm having to go and research some of these characters. And I've been a Star Wars fan over 30 years.
I'm on 7 months.
Not making me feel better. Over 30 years. Pages and pages and pages of reading material, hours and hours spent playing games, playing card games, everything. I've been immersed in the universe for over 30 years. And I'm looking at some of these characters going, I know who they are, don't know their story.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. And it's like, even some of them are like, I know the highlights, but let's go in a bit, get a bit more meat on the bones with it. And
there's too much. There's too much for any one person to know. And there's too many different areas of it for anyone to focus on. And I don't think I knew Star Wars was massive, but I didn't think I necessarily appreciated that when I came in, because to me, my husband was the Star Wars fan. And as far as I was aware, he knew everything there was to know about Star Wars, and he knew the ins and outs of it. And he does, he really does, but he knows everything to do with the Empire. Encyclopedic on the Empire. When I started going, this Force thing is really cool, like this caveat of this, and he'd be like, I don't know anything about that. And I'd be like, I'm sorry, what? My whole life has been a lie. You're the biggest Star Wars nerd I know. And that's not to detract from how much of a Star Wars nerd he is. Like you, he's just like lifelong fan, 30 years of obsessing over this franchise. it is very much always been a part of our lives because it means so much to him. And that's part of the reason why I started wanting to learn it in the first place. But it took me by surprise how much of it that he didn't know, despite having dedicated 30 years of his life to Star Wars. And you're like, well, if even
Yeah.
you don't know after that amount of time, how is anyone else going to know about it? And
Yeah.
it's funny because like you say about like the Discord being my comment section moved across, is I'm very fortunate to have found mostly, overwhelmingly, incredibly supportive people. Like I ask a Star Wars question and I get an answer. I don't often, it happens occasionally. I don't often get mocked for not knowing. I don't often get like told off or I'm
Mm.
happy or whatever else. I do occasionally. And usually I just roll my eyes or screenshot it and send it to my best friend. So if you're going to be mean, just know it's getting sent to my best friend. Yeah. But that there is the louder ones are the ones that upset you and are mean. But ignore them, and everyone else that's left is impossibly delightful.
Yeah.
So nice
Absolutely.
and so welcoming and so enjoyable. And like I say, genuine friends from doing this, from a little Star Wars hobby that makes, and like there's an element of, I think with Star Wars Unlimited, I'd love to do more that welcomes women into that sphere because I know it from the board game sphere that board game stores where most of these things are held are historically have been quite intimidating places. Many of them have moved, many of them have upgraded, many of them do not have that. Many of them are being owned now by people that understand the community aspect of it and the welcoming and the etc. etc. So they are better places now, but they can still be intimidating to walk into. And I would love to do something. I don't know what, but my brain wants to fix it that makes Star Wars Unlimited less intimidating for people to broach into and to be able to have the kind of experiences that you and I have when we go into a gaming store with my terrible amount of knowledge. The people that we meet are friendly and do want to help
Mm.
and do want to do X, Y, Z. And how do we share that and make that everyone's experience so that everyone goes, ah, of course I've fallen in love with Star Wars and Star Wars Unlimited in general. Yes, I will play with you. Yes, I will live in a rural area and come and play with you so that you haven't got to travel an hour away either way to possibly get there. All of these things smooshed into. Let's play
I think
nicely.
I think there's a real double-edged sword to nerd fandoms, and I say nerd with the utmost affection.
Yes, we are solid nerds. There's no
Absolutely.
this
Uh,
isn't a suck
I'm a
it nerd.
geek.
This is
I'm
a
not smart enough to be a nerd.
oh, is that where everyone has a different line on what those things mean?
Yeah, yeah. To me, a geek is someone who likes fandoms and has interests in that sphere. Nerds are those who are also really intelligent, um,
Gotcha.
and like really studious. So I'm that's my classification. But again, neither is a bad thing.
No.
It's just not. I think where it was such a fringe part of society that physically manifested itself in being a fringe part of high street or physical
Mm.
shops were down an alley or down two or three alleys, and it's in this weird little quirky part of town, coupled with the potential intimidation that anyone new to the sphere, but probably particularly women going down
Yeah.
alleys off the main beaten track. I can see why it was never particularly welcoming. And
Yeah.
where it's moved into the mainstream, you then get the gatekeepers that come with it and go, no, this is our thing. You then bring it to the masses and you make it more accessible and it becomes naturally more accessible and successful. And it gets onto the main high street and you can just wander in and go, hello. And it might still be intimidating.
Yes.
I came up with this desire to do it, not for any not for any political or movement reasons. I just looked at Star Wars and went, there's some badass women in this galaxy.
Yeah.
I have a daughter, but it's that thing of like, I want her to enjoy the things she enjoys
Mm.
instead of ever feeling like it's not right for girls to like that thing or you've outgrown it or just like what you like.
Yeah.
And I reached a point of my adulthood where I dropped out of Star Wars for a little bit. So I was like, no, I need to leave that behind. I need to grow up. I need to do this. And I got to a point I went, you know what? I enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back and do it
Too right.
because nothing else is going to happen. And I've never found anything to fill that void.
Yeah.
And I came back to it. And next thing I know, a podcast, got a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I'm sat here talking to someone who I met 6 months ago on the internet
Yep.
about Star Wars. And I'm
Yep.
just like, this is brilliant. Look at this.
Yeah.
I have a whole series about women in Star Wars with an American woman who I speak to regularly and have never met face to face, but is still, I would classify as one of my closest friends.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. And it's all because I looked at a little green guy and went, I like him.
Yeah. It's funny the origin story, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. But like you were saying about your husband specializes in Star Wars with the Empire.
Yeah.
I have always been really drawn to the spiritual element of the Force.
Hmm.
So that kind of extends to Force users in general. So I love the Jedi Order, I love the Sith Order, I love the concept of Grey Jedi. But then I watched season three, middle of season three of the Clone Wars. As you know, as you said, everything comes back to the Clone Wars, Mortis arc, and you get the father, the son, and the daughter introduced, and you suddenly have physical embodiments of the Force. The daughter is the light, son is the dark, and the father is the balance. And I was just like, oh my God, this is my part of Star Wars. And like I still know probably too much information about other things. But I can't tell you, I can't look at a species and go, oh, that's called that. Or look at a planet and go, that's called that. I know the big ones, and I know enough to either answer a question or contribute to a question. You start talking about the spirituality and light and dark of the Force. That's where I am at in Star
Yeah.
Wars. That's what I love. And I love the fact that you can have specialisms within a fandom.
Yeah.
We are fans of a film that came out nearly 50 years ago. That's where it all started. One guy had an idea, and 50 years later, we are all in with
Yeah.
more information than we could ever learn about it.
I think the something that I love so much about that is, I mean, my husband's an example of it. So my husband knows the films inside out, can probably quote you the entire films the whole way through. And in fact, sometimes watching the original trilogy is just a case of watching and listening to my husband reciting it as we go through it. Like we're at that level. But he won't mind me saying he's dyslexic, so he does not want to read the books. There's no interest in reading the books. Would quite like to know the story, but doesn't do the books. His cousin isn't necessarily the opposite, but focuses on the books, loves the books, loves the comics, knows the written better, perhaps, than even the films. Whereas my husband knows the films. And so when they get together, they're like, did you know this about this? Did you know this about this? And they get to have this huge little nerd out about Star Wars from something that is both absolutely correct, but both different areas of it. And both get to learn something new or discuss something or see something from a different angle that they didn't know about before, or these sorts of things. And I think that's to be able to be in a fandom that has existed for 50 years, that has the different aspects to it, and still be able to learn stuff from people and still be able to nerd out in a way that isn't like, well, obviously, of course we know this, because it's not obvious, because you didn't read this book, or that wasn't what you interpreted from this explanation, or this. I mean, me and my husband, I read the High Republic, the first High Republic book, absolutely loved it.
It's incredible.
Then forced my husband to get the audiobook because I was like, I need to talk to someone about this. Listen to the audiobook. He was like, I've got no interest in the High Republic. I was like, I do not care. Do this one thing for me. I just need to be able to talk to someone about it. But we discussed it at quite a lot of length afterwards, and like during chapters, and he'd be like, oh, this has just happened. And I'm like, oh my God, this bit. And even from that, direct comparisons, he took totally different things from that book as what I did. the bits that I thought were incredible, like the passages about how they see the Force and how Ava Chris uses her lightsaber to connect all of them together. Like that's me all over. He's there looking at Martian Row and talking about like how cool this is and how this interconnects, and the Nihil are doing this and like that. And I'm like, cool, very cool. Not this level cool though.
Yeah.
And that is one book that we have the exact same experience of and have taken totally different things from. And for the fact that I'm reading different books to obviously he's listening to them, that changes things. But he's got years of knowledge. I've got a book I've just read and now I'm suddenly an expert. You can't get that everywhere. I'm still posting stuff on TikTok where I find stuff out. And the people that I know are Star Wars fans, because we've been chatting for the last 6 months, are going, oh, I never knew that. And I'm like, see? Even, what was it? The really stupid one that people got very cross with me for. The hello there is a callback.
Oh, people get cross with you with that.
Yeah, I think I got DMs, I got everything. One of them turned around and was like, is this just clickbait? And I was like, no, films in order. So why would I know that this links to... Anyway, not that I got defensive over it, but I did. I was like, oh. I got quite a few of those. A lot of like, well, obviously kind of comments. But just as many of those, I got more going, oh my God, yes, I never realised. We are all at different points, but we can all enjoy it together and learn things together and have fun with it together. It's just the shouty ones. We just ignore the shouty ones.
You always ignore the shouty ones, but if you listen to them in chronological order, not release order, I'm talking very specifically about the hello there.
Mm-hmm.
You hear, obviously knowing that Alec Guinness's comes first, you hear Ewan McGregor get closer to it. So, because obviously Ewan McGregor is very Scottish. Alec Guinness is not. So they do say it quite differently. And the iconic one from episode 3 is very different. So you have a hello there, and then you have a hello there. They're very different, but Ewan McGregor has managed to stick one in there.
Yeah.
In Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's a little bit of a spoiler, but he does say hello there in it. And it's wonderful. You're waiting for it throughout the whole season. And he does it in a way that is part way between the episode 3 one and the episode 4 one. So you can see there is a transition instead of just going from one to the other. And
it fascinates me the whole way through because obviously he's trying to create early manifestations of mannerisms that come down later, and he does it so cleverly because exactly like you say, there's a merger between the first and the middle, and then where he ends up is that he doesn't come in with those mannerisms in episode 1. He grows them across episode 2, across episode 3, through what little I've seen of the Clone Wars to become this. It's like it's in how he stands, it's in how he twiddles his beard, it's in all of these things. It's like I know these are conscious decisions because I've seen like clips of interviews. I know he was trying to do that, but watching it chronologically and for the first time, really, because I've seen them all, but 20 years ago, I can't remember. I didn't care. I think
also, yeah, I was going to say not through that lens of
caring.
I'm now a fan of this.
Yeah. I remember the last time I watched most of them was about 15 years ago, just shy of 15 years ago, because that was when I met my husband and I tried to impress him by watching Star Wars films, which, I mean, marriage material, obviously. But watching it now and being able to, and like investing and being excited about it. And even one thing I don't know whether I posted a video on it, I can't remember, but I've got a lot in drafts. Watching them now in 4K, they weren't remastered, or I wasn't watching the remasters when I watched them 15 odd years ago. They were fuzzy and rubbish and a bit naff. And now they've been remastered and they're beautiful. You wouldn't know that they're old ones. Do you want to know my other favourite callback that isn't hello there? Because my brain
absolutely.
Oh my God, I'm excited about the hello there. And also I want to tell you the other one. Do you know what Leia's cell number is?
Not off the top of my head, no, and I probably couldn't have pulled it out of my brain even if I'd done to my head.
Do you know what Finn's stormtrooper number is?
2241.
2187.
2187. There you go.
It is also this. It is Leia's cell number.
That's amazing.
It is a
I love
callback,
that.
and I
I
was
love
like,
that.
I could, of all things, I learned that through a Sporkle quiz, which is a real throwback if you've ever done Sporkle. But I discovered that I was like, that's not true. And then I had to Google it and I was like, oh my God, it's true. How cool is that?
That is a wonderful callback. Because I know there's the Pixar callback where they put it's I know it's
Number.
Andy the studio number, and I know it's Andy's mum's license plate in Toy Story.
Yeah. And it's in everything, isn't it? But I see it and I go, but I never remember
there it is.
It's there.
And I know Lucasfilm had an awful lot to do with stuff like that. Like obviously groundbreaking technology behind the scenes, even up until recent stuff with the big circle thing they use for Mando. The Vision, the Void.
Oh, I know what you mean. Like the big cinema that they basically use for green screen instead of green screening. Just nuts.
Yeah, which is incredible. And again, that like Lucasfilm have been pushing boundaries. Like George Lucas couldn't make Star Wars because the technology didn't exist, so he invented it.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And I'm just like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And now, as I say, we're sat here 50 years later with your husband being an Empire enthusiast.
Yeah,
Empire information enthusiast. And me being a Force enthusiast.
And me being a Porg enthusiast.
You being a creature. I'll extend it to creatures. Creature enthusiast. Like there's 3 people who probably there or thereabouts in similar age.
Yeah.
Like we enjoy this thing. So it was around for a while before we were.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just here we are. And it's because, as I say, one man thought it up and went, I can't make that, so I'm gonna make the things that can make it.
Yeah. And that they still hold up. That's the bonkers bit. It's like sitting I really prepared myself for the original trilogy that I was gonna have to slog my way through it. And it holds up. Like it does beautifully. The effects are great. There's not a part of it that feels jarring, that feels like it shouldn't be there.
I think that's because it's largely practical.
The
things that jump out to me are the things that have been added. So,
yes,
A New Hope, Jabba's appearance. Originally, it was a man, which was weird. Thinking about now.
Yeah, because it got pointed out to me, and then my husband showed me the differences on it. But you're a wonderful human being. And it was like, it's because it was. But then also there's a couple of cuts in it that I'm like, and I think it's the different additions because there's some dialogue that's repeated, and I can't off the top of my head remember what it was, but I remember hearing it and being like, why are we repeating this? And then it was like, it's because it's different cuts of the same film now put into this way.
I am looking forward to next year. The original cut is getting a cinematic re-release.
So here is my question. Because we're so used to new in inverted commas Star Wars. Star Wars is as how George Lucas would like it to be now. And that is what we have been rewatching, and that is what we have predominantly been enjoying, and changes previously have been quite minor. I think a lot of people won't like it.
I don't think a lot of people will like it. I like it because I have seen it before and I enjoyed it. I will like it about as much as I like New Hope. So it's not high up on my list, but it's Star Wars.
Why don't you like A New Hope?
Luke's such a whiny little so-and-so.
Yeah, he still is.
He still is. And it's like, oh, this is really out of character for Luke. I'm like,
I think that with everything, when everyone's like, oh, well, this is really out of character for blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's really out of character that Rey can do loads of stuff. And I'm like, I'm sorry, she had training with several people over a longer period of time than Luke achieved in his 3 days in Dagobah, doing all XYZ. And you're fine with him being the greatest guy in the galaxy. And then you have the child, you have Anakin. I appreciate he's the chosen one, but still, he is responsible for their win against the Trade Federation at the point. He is a child. but we're okay because he used the force there, and his force is absolutely fine, just not the woman's force when we go further forward. You're going to get comments on this now. Now I've set the Rey lot off. They're going to be cross at me. Where I'm at the moment. Do I need to rewatch the sequels? Yes, probably should do that before having such a strong opinion. But right now, at this very moment in time,
There were story choices in the sequel trilogy which annoyed me.
yes,
At no point did I blame that on Rey
no,
or any of the characters. There are characters I don't particularly like in the sequel trilogy. I think there are characters that are severely underutilized in the sequel trilogy. And I
yes,
think the biggest issue is they quite clearly didn't storyboard out the damn trilogy.
yes, fully agree. But I think there's in the same way that for me, Rogue One was good.
Mm-hmm.
Andor makes Rogue One incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Context.
Yeah, I think if you and I want to read the books, I want to watch the films and then I want to read the books because all the answers are in the books for that later, the sequel trilogy.
Hmm.
But I genuinely believe if they flesh out what actually happened with good media for the in-between parts or for the later parts, I think we will have a whole different perspective on what those sequels do because we can delve into the bits that went missing. So
Mhm.
you're the middle one, lots of cool stuff being attempted, but in isolation, rubbish. It's a rubbish film. Nothing, like, not enough happens. Too much happens that doesn't happen. Do not enjoy. But it started setting up something interesting that it didn't then deliver on because it lost the last film. The last film
Mhm.
then mopped up what it was trying to do, so then it didn't make sense. This is my opinion on it from memory, so could be very, very wrong here. Like, I don't think the search for Ben Solo or whatever that film was going to be. I'm not one of those that is like, that would have fixed things. But I think playing in the universe afterwards in a big way, in an Andor kind of way, that makes you go, ooh, or validates. Like even there's the book coming out in June, July this year that delves
Legacy.
into, yes, Leia with Rey and how both of those deal with it. I think that's going to be incredibly interesting because although it's written,
Can't wait for that.
I think it's a young adult novel.
Oh, is it?
I
It'll
might
be
be
good
wrong.
either way.
It will be, but I kind of hope it's not because I want it to go deeper. I need
Mm.
it to do more because that's such a cool opportunity. That's such a really interesting period of time that is so underexplored because you just get and now she's trained, and that's what makes people really cross.
Yeah.
If we fill in those gaps, is that going to validate like what you're missing to make this a genuine character? Because I looked at it from a female point of view. I looked at it and was like, oh my God, female lead, she's great. Here's all the cool stuff she can do. She's really powerful. That's boss. That's amazing. They were like, oh no, she can't have learnt this. And I'm like, sorry, your little farm boy. Is he going to do any better? No, thank
Your
you.
little farm boy killed 2 million people 3 days after leaving the farm.
Legit. So did not care about the murder of his aunt and uncle for long enough.
No, no, really didn't.
Oh no, they're
And
dead. Okay, cool. Should we go exploring? Let's go exploring.
I
No,
think
Luke, sit down.
one of my favorite Luke's a whiny little so and so, and Leia is an absolute boss
There
moment
is a boss.
is he took time to comfort Luke because Obi-Wan died in the same sequence where her entire planet blew up.
Yeah, yeah,
I think I've said it on the cast before. In fact, I'm fairly certain I have. You have Leia, 19, senator, respected figure, leader of the rebellion. You have Han Solo, who granted is a few years older, galaxy renowned smuggler. You have Lando, similar age to Han, world renowned scoundrel. You have Luke, meow, with his
yeah,
coy P-16 Skyhopper. It's
yeah,
just like, okay.
yeah,
And then the sequel trilogy, which, going back to what you're saying about the hunt for Ben Solo, that entire story and the outrage, or fake outrage, I'm going to call it out, fake outrage about this not being made, complete non-story. It was never going to be made. The writer of this supposed script has never actually delivered the script to Twitter or anywhere else that has claimed he's going to send it. It was the bare bones of an idea. Disney went, yeah, well within their rights to do it.
Mm.
We have Legacy of Vader comic book, which explores Kylo Ren in between episode 8 and 9. We have The Rise of Kylo Ren, which explores his origins. And this was meant to be set after episode 9, where there is the slight issue of the fact that he is dead.
Mm.
Um,
I mean, that's never stopped Star Wars before.
it kind of has. Not from interactions. You have the Force ghosts, but setting an entire movie around him. Like the Force ghosts are kept quite.
And so Maul got cut in half.
He survived by his hatred. I may have forgotten about Maul for a minute. There is also Legends precedent for that as well. Darth Sion,
There you go.
who survived, who would be struck down in battle and would then just get up and carry on because he was that angry.
Where there's a will, there's a way. If they want Ben Solo back in the canon, he's coming back into the canon.
You've always got clones, haven't you? That's
Yeah. Just chuck
that's
another one in.
the cheat code.
Or the Force.
genuinely,
The Force
or the
willed it,
Force.
and there he is. There you
Yeah, there he is.
go.
I have no burning desire for more Kylo Ren. I have quite a lot of burning desire for more Rey. I'm
Yes.
desperate for her new Jedi Order trilogy to come out, and I really want them to do animated is fine, ideally live action, where you can take some of the students and send them off on an adventure.
Yeah.
Even if you were to then adapt Legends New Jedi Order with the Yuzon Vong War, cool, let's do that. Let's get silly with this. Like we know other galaxies exist. The Yuzon Vong come from another galaxy. They cross the void in biological ships. Like it gets weird. 90s was a time for Star Wars. You have that built in that you
Yeah.
can draw on as characters and story arcs, and you can introduce the likes of Jason
Yeah.
as a child, who we currently have a Jason as a child who is force sensitive. We can do this,
Yeah.
and it'll be almost more heartbreaking seeing what happens to Jason in particular because of how people feel about Kanan. They're the familiar, and it's also moving away from the Skywalkers. They've been problematic for the galaxy. We'll say that.
Yeah. They're just up in everyone's business. They're just there all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's just more stories to tell and more context to give that I think can be explored and warrants being explored. I think, like I want to see more Rey. Like,
Absolutely.
I want more from her, in a sense, to stop people whining quite so much. Like I want them to provide enough answers that people that don't see Rey potential have the opportunity to see like what she represents for other people. So for me, it was like a chunk of it was a female lead. Like that alone in what it was the first time I went, oh, maybe Star Wars is for me. And people pick up on that a lot because you don't have the same, a lot of the loud shouters don't have the same understanding of what that like genuinely means. Like the fact that I could watch Andor and come away with multiple favorite female characters, that's nuts. That doesn't happen in hardly any franchises, barely in Star Wars, because yes, you have Padme and you have Leia. They are isolated. They are supporters in a grand story. They don't warrant their own storyline, their own actions, their own whatever. They are supporters, as good characters as they are. It's not about them. Rey coming in and being what she was, and the focus of this, and the way she was portrayed in Force Awakens, especially, really cool. For people to accept that I like her, need more details. I want more details. I mean, I'm happy just being argumentative on the internet, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm happy holding this opinion and defending this opinion.
You shouldn't need to defend it. Have the explanation as part of a conversation, absolutely, but you should never have to defend your own opinion. We've been talking for a long time about Star Wars this evening, and throughout it all, we have been very passionate about what we've been saying, and we've been very points animated about what we're saying as well. We clearly care a lot about it. But at the same time, if Star Wars were to disappear tomorrow, our lives would go on exactly as they were.
Hmm.
That's always the thing I always come back to of like, why are you so not you, the royal you, why are you so intent on ruining my fun?
Yeah.
What is missing in your life that you have to come and ruin other people's experiences?
Yeah. There's
It's
a fantastic quote, and it depends on your levels as to whether you need to cut it out, but it's a Daniel Radcliffe thing that he said where
mm,
I can't remember the exact quote, but he basically turned around and was like, so you're mad at me for being excited about something. And like, do you know what I mean? Some people are addicted to drugs. I just happen to like a fantasy world. I think that's
yeah,
okay. Yeah.
it's a great quote.
In the scheme of things, I mean, he definitely said it better.
Yeah.
In the scheme of things, I'm just very much opinion like what you like. And as I've said, me and my husband have very different opinions and different things that we take from Star Wars, but we just talk about both of them. I get to be excited about my part, he gets to be excited about his. We get to be excited about Rey. That's not the same with everyone, but as long as you'll talk to me about it, like I'm perfectly willing for us to hold completely separate opinions. I'm surprised you don't like A New Hope. I quite enjoyed it. It's one of my up there ones. Like those sorts of things is like I have opinions that are potentially controversial because you just like what you like, but it's about how you engage with people, and we can like different things and that's okay. But if you think we can like different things and I must change your mind and that's the be all and end all because I'm right, that's when you're being a servant. So
Completely agree. But I am also
are you an Empire Strikes Back guy?
no, I'm a
No.
prequel guy.
Ooh, did
Mm,
not expect.
yeah,
Interested.
my Empire is the best of the original,
Mhm.
but it doesn't crack the top three.
That's fascinating to me.
Like Attack of the Clones, I'm fairly sure. Empire might have been two, actually, because I do love Empire. Revenge of the Sith was one. I think Attack of the Clones was four, and Episode One may have been three. So yeah, I came into Star Wars through the prequels
Mm.
and like really came into it. That was my gateway into it. And before that, I'd read some comic books. I read a couple of books, and like just sort of knew the big twist.
Mhm.
It's just culture. But what got me in was Episode One. And then I was like, okay, I really like this. I'm going to play a lot of games on the PlayStation 1. Lots of QB people wandering around with a blue line. And it was amazing. And then Episode 2 came out. And I already quite liked Yoda. And then the trailer happened and you see him summon his lightsaber to his hand. And I was like, oh, it's happening. And then I started getting Lego and then it kind of snowballed to now.
Mm.
But I was going to say, as you like Ray, there is a Audible original called The Jaws of Jakku.
Oh, yes. After I got rid of my Audible subscription because I don't like audiobooks, I was fuming. They're like, oh, we're going to launch this. And I was like, are you joking me? I've had credits for years that are just going unused. And now you want to do this. Great.
I will say
Would like to listen to.
it's only 4 hours. It's less than 4 hours.
You can't say less than four. This is my problem with audiobooks is that I read at such a pace that
Mm.
audiobooks are like unbearably slow for me. Even if I put them on 2 times speed so I can barely understand what they're saying, they are just still slower than me reading it, and it just makes me so sad that I can't
Fair
just read.
enough. It's part of Ray's training, and Leia basically sends her back to Jakku to confront her past.
Oh, see, I really want that.
It's really good.
Yeah, okay,
Like,
fine.
as someone who is not like, for me, it is prequel and then it's the rest.
Mm.
Like, depending on
It
the
is,
day,
but I
they'll
think
swap.
that's an interesting point to come in at. And part of the reason why I think I like Rey so much is that A Force Awakens was the first time I went, I could be a Star Wars fan. And obviously it didn't work out, but I get little reminders of that. Like my keys, we moved house at around the time that Force Awakens happened, bought our first home, and I have a BB-8 key because I had the choice of all the options there, and I went for a BB-8 one because I was like, I'm going to be a Star Wars fan now. This is great. And I look at pictures, and that year I was wearing a BB-8 Christmas jumper. And I was like, I really thought that this was me coming into Star Wars. And then for various reasons, the follow-ups didn't suit me, like all the rest of it. But I think that's why and I need to rewatch them. This is the other thing. I need to rewatch them and watch them with the eyes that I have now rather than the memory of what they were. But for me, Force Awakens and Rey are so pivotal to my early experience in the same way that the prequels were to bring you into it. They were the ones that you watched. For my husband, it's Empire Strikes Back because he watched that on repeat as a kid because his uncle lent him the video. And like that's you feel more uniquely linked to your origin. But for me, that's Force Awakens, which I think a lot of the angry Star Wars nerds can't get their heads around because they've been originals fans or prequels fans. But I do need to watch the sequels. I say all of this with a massive asterisk. I might watch it and be like, no, they're all right. Rey is terrible. But
the thing is, as I say, not a big sequel person. I liked what they were trying for. Execution was terrible.
Yeah, and it's also strange watching it now. I say strange. Every Star Wars fan has known this for years, but for me, watching the old ones, it's a New Hope again. Like almost to a T, it's the same beats of a New Hope.
They lost me from the off with Force Awakens. I went back to the cinemas, first time in 10 years, new Star Wars film. Here we go, new trilogy, new characters, awesome new crossguard lightsaber. Who is this Kylo Ren gap? And then I sat there and watched A New Hope. And I walked out and went, no, not happy about that.
Hope. So I'm kind of like, well, cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I can respect it now from the POV that I never had then, that would be disappointing if you've waited that long for something like that to come out. And then it comes out and it is a rehashing of a previous. And I think there was probably like an element of legacy and this whole, like it's poetry, it rhymes stuff that comes out and all of this. But I can understand it from that. Again, like talking about disagreements, we can all disagree and still be friends.
Absolutely.
I get it. I just quite like it still.
It's a fundamentally good film, but you only ever get one first impression. And the first impression from me was Starkiller Base came on screen and I went, they've remade A New Hope. Oh, not happy.
Yeah.
And it's a, as I say, it's a fundamentally good film. It is probably the best of the three. There is the moment at the beginning where Kylo stops the laser bolt.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which I was like, what? That's cool. And there are moments in all three. I'm like, this is awesome. This is Star Wars. But when you look at them as a cohesive trilogy, it's just not there. You can see where the decisions were made and then the panic set in.
Yes. Yeah. And I almost think that Disney may have been better off instead of coming back with a film, and this wasn't really the way of doing it at that time, but coming back with a series and figuring out what people want, and then because they've had successful series. You've had your Mando, but then they've had the ones that have been more successful with the fans than they have been with anyone else. You've had the ones that have the mass appeal and the ones that don't, and then culminating in the creation of something like Andor, which is just, I think, peak Star Wars, but peak
fantastic
like, media.
Yeah,
it is incredible as a piece of media. However far through I am, we'll see how Series 2 ends up. But I'm led to believe I'm going to be in for a good time. Is that if they approached bringing back more character, like creating the sequels now with that knowledge and that understanding, I think we would have an astonishingly different series. I think we'd have more confidence in original characters. I think we'd have a much grittier storyline that wouldn't rely on cameos. You would want some, you'd need some. Like it would be stupid not to.
Star Wars.
Yeah, and it's what you're waiting for. You're waiting for Luke to show up. Even in Mando, I remember the reactions when Luke showed up in Mando, and it's like, look, this is what we want. I got excited when Ahsoka showed up, and I'd only ever seen clips of Ahsoka. Like, the cameos are nice, but not necessary. But they wouldn't have been everything, which they
Mm,
kind of were in the sequels. And you could have then afforded to take more risks because you'd know what you needed to do in order to take those risks.
mm.
Like the logic, I always think of when Rey stops the ship, but then accidentally uses Force lightning. That's never really explored again. Like that doesn't really come to enough. Like I want more from that. And if you're trying to make her dance light side, dark side, do more with that.
So it is explored, and this is where my brain, I have to think that where did I see this?
Yeah.
It's explored in the book, but you
That
obviously get the inner monologue.
nope. Nope. This annoys me. Palpatine as a clone is in the book. That is not in the film. That is a
Yeah,
vital piece of information
no, no,
for films to
that's what
make
I'm
sense.
saying. That's what I'm saying. It is explained. You shouldn't have to go and read book of the thing you've just watched to understand the thing you've
Yes.
just watched.
Yes.
It's a fundamental misstep
Yeah.
in storytelling. It's not even, are we just meant to go, oh, well, Palpatine liked lightning.
Yeah.
So obviously his descendants do. It's just part of him. That's not how the Force works.
No. There was no part of
And
me that went, lightning, Palpatine. That's
yeah,
not what my brain did. My brain went, lightning, bad.
and it's not foreshadowing that it's Palpatine. No, so we'd already had, which contextually in universe I get, still a terrible line. Somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah.
Didn't help my dislike of Poe. It just didn't get anyone else to deliver that line. And it's better because if it's a background character, fine. They're not going to know. They're not going to be close to Leia and have that access to potential information or access to ask questions about how the Force works. Why? Why does Poe know that that's how the Force works? Well, somehow he returned. I don't know. Like it's very Poe.
I like
Mm, I know
I
you
have I do
do,
have issues. I do have issues with Poe.
but
But I do also like Poe. We have a
I
cat
know,
called Poe. So
I know, I know, and I'm sure I would like the cat Poe.
uh
But
50-50.
there is fundamental issues with the storytelling
Yes.
that they undertook. Looking into it as Episode 7 was just a remake of A New Hope. I don't particularly like Han Solo in the original trilogy either. I get a lot of stick for that sometimes.
I
Um,
didn't until the rewatch. I really had no respect for him whatsoever. And then I rewatched it and I was like, oh, I get this more now. Like
hmm,
I have adult eyes and that helped. So
I
I
liked him more in the sequel trilogy. I was like, I can get on board with promoting old
because he
Harrison Ford.
dies.
It helps. But it's almost that thing of like, I know what you have to do, my son, to become the evil thing that you think you want. So I'm going. So there was a theory that Han squeezed his hand, which turned the lightsaber on. And it's like, that's why he couldn't truly become a Sith because he didn't do it.
Mm,
And I'm like, kind of makes sense. Also, like again, what is it with the main boy character being whiny
yeah.
and tantrumy? Like, but you look at all three trilogies. I'm not sat here as a prequel guy going, the prequels are perfect. Prequels are far from perfect. Anakin, whiny.
So
Luke,
whiny.
whiny.
Very whiny.
Ben, whiny.
Whiny. Do you know who's not whiny? Ray.
Ray, Padme, Leia,
Yeah. Each of our strong female characters.
the
Decent.
counterparts to the male protagonist is the strong female lead of the film, even if not necessarily a main character, the main character, one of the main characters. Really strong female leads. And Star Wars is littered with them. Like
Yeah. But overshadowed by
the
whiny.
whiny little so and so's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You just got to keep banging the drum.
Just keep going.
Just keep
Right.
going.
Andor did a lot of heavy lifting. I am obsessed.
Yes. Who's your favorite female in Andor?
It's between Mon Mothma and Marva.
Marva is proper, like old school hippie rebel, isn't she?
Yeah. She's an
I
OG
love it.
rebel who settled into her retirement and then went, no, and then
This fire
spent
still burns.
yeah, spent her illness still trying to like do smaller acts of rebellion of what she could do, and
Mm.
then chose knowing exactly her place in society to really, really like change the world. And she just sat there and did it, and it was just the most incredible thing. But equally, I love all of them. All of the women in there are stellar, and I know because I've just had something recently ruined for me on TikTok that I'm going to see some changes. But even like your Dedra, they're just great. That acting is phenomenal, and I've said that the whole way through Andor. I'm like, that is probably one of the best performances I've ever seen. How is that person not won an award for that? Like, I've forgotten who that person is outside of their character because their acting is so good.
There is a moment which involves Dedra, which I think was meant to be like a really serious, intense moment. I just burst out laughing.
Oh no.
Uh, yeah, I couldn't help. I just laugh, and every time I think of it, I
Oh,
smile.
let me finish
Um,
it and then I'll have to come
I'll
back
let
to you.
you
Say,
finish
what
it.
was the moment?
Uh, I'm not going to tell you. I want to know if you figure it out. It's really uncomfortable because I don't know why anyone would do this in real life, and it just made me kind of laugh, but not like a that's really funny. This is really uncomfortable, but it's also kind of funny.
It's not the interaction with the mum, is it?
No,
No.
that was brilliant.
Such a weird long setup for us to have to deal with, like almost not enough.
But again, Cyril, whiny man.
Oh my God, such a whiny man.
I must admit, as a parent, I felt Cyril laying on that bed during that moment. Just like, oh,
Yeah, yeah.
I was just like, yeah, I'm here for that.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's Cyril was so sniveling and oh, just the worst character, but also quite a cool character. Like you need characters like Cyril.
Yeah, and he's I'm at the stage where he's growing into something. I don't know what that something is going to be, but you're seeing they're setting up a build of some description. So I'm waiting for the fallout on what that will be.
Yeah.
But for
Um,
now, Dedra's really cool. Dedra's cool.
Cedric,
Vix is cool. Marva's really cool. The Mon Mothma's cousin, whose name I've forgotten, she's really cool.
Val,
Yeah, her. Luthen's assistant, she's very cool.
Claire,
Is that her name?
Claire,
I mean, like, yes, I believe you. I just my brain didn't accept it as in a way that my brain went, what her name is.
Claire Markey. That's her name.
She's very cool. And then all the characters in between are very cool. Like it's incredible. I've never had that many female characters that I've been like, I love this. This is you.
Mhm.
You are the best in any of the franchises that I've enjoyed ever. And to have it in Andor, which I was so
All
resistant
places.
to watching. Like, granted, it was before I was a Star Wars fan, but I remember talking in the office about it because my previous office had more Star Wars fans. And I remember my boss at the time talking to me about it, and she was like, I really want to talk about this. Are you going to watch it? And I was like, no. And she's like, well, can I spoil it for you then? Because I need to talk to someone. And I was like, yeah. So I know nothing I've taken from it is anything that I don't expect from what I'm doing now. So it's not spoiled things, but I didn't understand that excitement. And I was like, I'm not going to watch it. I don't care. It's like, it's gritty and I like cheerful. So not my bag. And I've watched it and gone, oh my God.
One of the things in recent times in Disney, and I think a lot of it is to do with the noise around the Ray stuff, is it's felt like sometimes certain characters or certain backgrounds and things have been somewhat forced into a role and it doesn't feel right watching it. I never once got that with Andor. I never once looked at any of the characters there and even registered man or woman. It was just they're all working towards this goal. And it's not like there are physical things where it wouldn't happen. So like using Dedra as an example is probably bad because I reckon she probably could throw Cyril over her shoulder. But like Bix throwing Cassian over her shoulder and running through a battlefield with him to save him. You look at it and go, that's probably better shot the other way around. But you don't then want the damsel in distress and the macho sensitive kind of thing that goes with it. And like it's a very difficult balance to strike. And I'm obviously looking at this as a bloke who has always only ever really seen that's what's presented to me.
Yeah, and I do think that is a perspective difference. It's because
Yeah.
I read that and I'm like, yes, because if you put me in that circumstance, you can make damn sure that I will be tracking whoever needs to be over my bloody shoulder and running my way through, and like I will make it work how I need to make it work. It doesn't matter what my physicality is, I'm not going to not do it. Like this is what we are doing, this is what is happening. And that women having their own autonomy to do stuff is normal. When you're in a women brain, it's not when you've not got writers on staff that are women, or writers or consultants and staff, or whoever else. And that is why women then take those smaller roles. Even Leia, like damsel in distresses for Han on occasion. You're like, oh no. Like Padme doesn't need to damsel in distress for Anakin, but they still put her into that role because you don't have, arguably, women writers. The curly hair scene. I come back to the curly hair scene. There were no women on that staff. If you have her brushing curly hair, it just doesn't happen. It's not acceptable. There are other unacceptable things, but that one has really stuck with me. This felt like a world that makes sense. This is an oppressed world where everyone is out for themselves because they have to be. You do have to take risks in order to survive. And then you put that into an actual rebellion that's growing, and you have to continue to take those risks. You have to keep going. And what does that do? And that's just stunningly done.
Yes.
Stunningly done.
That's what I mean. It's that thing of if I'm watching something with multiple male and female leads, and I don't even notice necessarily of like, well, they make a point of it though, and it just naturally becomes part of the story. Like Dedra is very clearly pushing to move up the ranks within the Empire and is quite clearly meeting a level of resistance because she's a woman. Because there's no other difference. Like he's being met with resistance. It's not because of anything else other than the fact of we are showing that the Empire is quite chauvinistic and just not a very nice place in general. But you then have all of these just people fighting together and pushing for the same goal throughout the entire show, and whether that be Bix, who is actually the one who brings Andor or Cassian into it. You have Vel, who is a very, very capable operative who is leading the Aldani heist. You have what appears to be, I don't know if you picked up on this throughout season one, a bit of a question about who was running the Luthen operation, whether it was Luthen or whether it was Claire at times.
I mean, I think it's Claire, but Luthen is the voice.
Yeah, that's the conclusion I came to, of like she is a lot of the brains behind of it.
Yeah.
And Luthen is also very, very smart and knows what he wants to do. But Claire seems to be the operative, the big thinker of it. Obviously, Mon Mothma is an incredible character and played brilliantly by Genevieve O'Reilly. And you haven't got to the speech yet, have you?
No.
That speech, I don't think could have been delivered by anyone else.
Yeah.
Man or woman. That had to be delivered by her. That's a fixed point in time. to kind of quote Doctor Who a little bit. But no, I just thought it was an absolutely incredible series. And it's just I'm so excited for you to finish it.
I need to get back on it. Like we were watching it every night for age. It felt like ages. It probably wasn't. It was just, but we watched too much in one go. And like we mentioned earlier, it's quite a lot to
you kind of
absorb
burn out a little bit.
And we've taken a short break from it just because that's how life worked.
Yeah.
And it's like, right now we need to get ourselves back into, let's sit down and talk about horrific atrocities that are happening. And like I know snippets of stuff that's to come, and I'm like, oh, does a Tuesday evening feel like I'm ready to watch what's coming? No, no.
So, Charlie, thank you very, very much for joining me on this episode. We have talked all over the galaxy, and it's been an absolute blast. But where can people find you in our galaxy?
I am predominantly on TikTok. I am at the Charlie side, or if you search Charlie is Learning Star Wars, you'll find me. I am going to be making a bit more of an effort on Instagram. Exactly the same handle, but do please come and find me over there because it feels like a big old world again. But thanks so much for having me. It's been so much fun. I don't envy your editing of this because we're both guilty of a tangent.
At least we largely stuck to Star Wars this time.
Yes, yeah, we were somewhat on topic.
Yes, we were, absolutely. But I will link your TikTok and Instagram in the show notes for anyone who wants to go and follow Charlie. I highly recommend you do. Absolutely fantastic content, and it's great to see your journey continue. But that's going to do it for this episode of Star Wars Youniverse podcast. And until next time, may the force be with you always.